All right, it is time for Film Goals Vlog number 2. Hey everyone, it is Shannon, and I'm super excited to be here today and to share with you this video. I did a video like this back in February, like 3 weeks ago. As a sort of introduction into my film goals for the year. So what I've actually done is I have taken all of my film goals and I have reworded them as a prompt and put them in a prompt jar. So I am going to pick up prompts from the jar, decide on films to watch for those prompts, and then watch those movies. I'm really excited about this. It's been a really great way to encourage myself to watch films for my goals, and it's just fun to do and fun to share. So it's, I think, an all-around win-win-win. So I'm going to pick 3 prompts this time. I think there's one thing that I know that I want to do, and I think I can probably watch 4 movies for this vlog, so I'm only going to pick 3, and then if I have time for more, I will pick more. So let's see what prompts have. Should I have shaken it first? Shake it, shake it. I put the other ones that I did back in here because all of them, most of the goals I want to do more, like, are more than one film, so we could have the same prompts. That would be very strange. Let's do one at the top. Let's see what it is. Oh, okay, 20. Taurus Stunt Award, Best Overall Stunt Performed by a Stunt Woman. Okay, I know that that's a mouthful. So what this is, well, it actually really is what it says. So I am, there's 2 sets of awards that I'm working on this year. One is the Academy Awards for different categories, and one is the Taurus Stunt Awards, because I really like action movies. I really like films, especially that have hand-to-hand combat, and but that's not really included in the Academy Awards, so I'm like, well, there probably is an awards that is focused on that. And there is, the Taurus Stunt Awards, which has been around for about 20 years. So what I'm going to do, these are actually, a fair amount of these are rewatches. So what I'm adding as a little additional game or goal or whatever for myself is I'm also trying to guess what the stunt is. So I picked Best Fight is one of the awards I'm following, and then also Best Stunt Performed by a Stunt Woman. So probably I'll have to look at my list. I would like to do these chronologically, but it depends on if I have access to that movie, and I don't know, I might want to watch a different movie or want to watch an unseen movie. I'm not sure. So I will take a look and see if I'll just watch the earliest film that won for Best Overall Stunt Performed by a Stunt Woman, or if I'm going to watch something else. Okay, I'm excited about that. I'm excited. Fun, 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 fun. Let's get one in the middle. I'm not looking at, it's weird. I'm like, I look like I'm looking, oh, no, it's that one. Sometimes you just know. I don't know if others feel that way when they're picking prompts. Is it this side? No. It's not this side. It's this side. Oscar-winning film for sound. Okay, so this could be an awards film vlog. Who knows? Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm also following the Oscars. I'm trying to see, with the Oscars, I'm trying to see films I haven't seen, and I picked 5 different categories, and one of them is Best Sound. So I will have to look and see what Oscars won for Best Sound, and you know, if they're on any of the services I have access to. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Let's go for this one. That one I looked at. Is that bad? I don't know. It's the one I picked. I can't read it. I can't read it. Oh, that's upside down. Whoop. Still upside down? Okay, we're going backwards. Okay. Okay, 21, a film directed by Susan Bier. I picked a couple of directors and a couple of actors that I want to see more of their work, and Susan Bier is one of them. She is a Danish film director. I will have to check again to see what is available. I know that there's something on Amazon, and I know that she also directed Bird Box, which actually might also fit this prompt. Okay, so I think it is. That would be a win-win. Oh, if that's the case, should I pick another one? I don't know. I have no idea. So this is strange because I don't know any of the actual movies I am going to watch right away. So I'm going to look at my lists and I will let you know how things go. Very exciting. I'm sure coffee will help me make good decisions. Now it is time for the reveal. And so for Best Overall Stunt Performed by a Stunt Woman for the Taurus Stunt Awards, I went to my spreadsheet to see what won this for the first time, and in 2002, what won was The Fast and the Furious! Yay! I mean, like, I didn't really look at the rest of the choices. I was just like, if Fast and the Furious is one of the options, I'm picking Fast and the Furious. So I'm going to be rewatching this. I own this. I love this movie. I love the series. I was feeling like watching it anyway, so it ends up being perfect timing. So yeah, but I'm going to particularly be watching this and looking for the best overall stunt performed by a stunt woman. I do have a sense of what it could be. I've added that extra level for this particular category because I have actually seen a lot of the films that have won. So I thought that might be an interesting way to just like engage with the film more and then like maybe even learn more about stunts and stuff like that because I don't think of them too much. And so yeah, so I'm going to watch this and see which sequence or what moment I thought I won. I do remember there is a rather long involved car and truck situation that was very impressive, but I don't know that much about stunts, so I don't know, maybe it's something else, and maybe when I watch this I will be like, oh no, it's gonna be that. I don't know, so it'll be an interesting way to engage with the film in a different way, especially since this is a film I've seen a lot. Let's just say a lot. I actually have no idea because I watched it before Letterboxd and before I track stuff, especially. I don't even know still how I feel about tracking rewatches. Sometimes I include them on Letterboxd, sometimes I don't. Generally I do. Let me know, do you include rewatches on Letterboxd? They do have the function. I like that. It's much easier. Goodreads could learn a little bit about that function. So, although I think we probably rewatch movies more than we reread books. I don't know. I can only speak for myself. And so one of the other categories was to watch a film directed by Susan Bier. If you're unfamiliar, Susan Bier is a Danish director, and there she is. She's a Danish director, and she directed After the Wedding is the first thing that I ever saw that she directed, and it is an absolutely extraordinary film. It's a drama, and it is just heart-wrenching. Like, not, like, horrible, but like just it's so beautiful. It's like tragedy, like drama, like level, like play tragedy, and stars Mads Mikkelsen. I think it was the first thing I ever saw him in. And so since I have watched that, I've tried to watch anything that she has done, but I haven't been watching as many movies in the past couple of years, so I have a fair amount to catch up with. So for her, I only had two options. One was Bird Box, which was nominated for Best Overall Stunt Performed by a Stunt Woman in 2019, but it didn't win. But I actually decided to go with Love Is All You Need. This is on Prime. It is a drama. It stars Pierce Brosnan, and I think it's set in Italy. I don't know too much about it, but I decided to go with it because Bird Box is a Netflix original, so I don't have any worry about it going off of Netflix. I think it's going to be available, whereas this is on Prime and I don't know how long it's going to be available. So this is what I'm going to go with. It's a drama. It's about 2 hours, and yeah, I don't know too much about it. I don't know anyone who has seen it, and it looks a bit more soft than the sort of real sort of hard-hitting, tragic, kind of emotional. I would say her films always have a really strong emotional story and through line and like emotional conflict, and they're extraordinary, and usually that's something that I can find to be too hard to watch. Like, I wouldn't watch a lot of films like that in a row, but how she deals with them is so beautiful, like just expert. And I also earlier this year I watched A Second Chance, and it was so good. I also watched Serena, which was not as great, but it sounded like it had some like issues in terms of other stuff. There's actually someone did a great review on Letterboxd of that helped me understand sort of like, wow, this feels like something just was in the review just explained, some of the issues of that one. So, but if you're looking to watch films like her, I definitely say After the Wedding is the one to start with. It's funny because I think she's probably now most known for Bird Box, but I haven't seen it yet. And it's not going to be my pick this week, or this time. So Love Is All You Need is going to be my pick for Susan Bier. And then for the Oscar winner for sound, I might sort of see how the day goes because this is one drama and one action. But the easiest choice, I often go with just sort of like what's the earliest one available. And the earliest one available is The Hurricane, which is directed by John Ford, and it's available on Canopy. And I don't know anything about it. John Ford is, you know, an amazing director. I'm trying to remember. Well, he's I shouldn't say that because I can't off the top of my head remember a bunch of stuff that I've seen that he's done. He is a well-regarded, famous, award-winning director. So I think it's a pretty good pick. That being said, it won for sound and it only won for sound. So I'm not sure. I also feel like the setting might be a little problematic, so I don't know. But it's on the list and it's available, so that could happen. But I'm gonna watch the Susan Bier film first and then see how I feel, if I'm up for another drama-y one, because they're both sort of like 2-hour drama films, and I don't know if I'm gonna feel like watching that back to back. So I'm gonna watch I keep on forgetting the name of it, Love Is All You Need, and then take it from there. So that is how the day is going, and I'm excited. And on my fourth choice, which I forgot to mention, I think my fourth choice is I think I want to add to these videos to try and always see something that came out this year. So I'm going to keep my eye out for that, and because I think that's fun, and because there actually is a fair amount available on Netflix and Prime even of films that are 2021 releases. So might as well enjoy them, so or give them a shot. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy any of these. Well, I'm going to enjoy this. That I know. And I'm also going to continue my knitting. I'm on to my second leg warmer, and I have confirmed that they are leg warmers. So I had my first one done in my first vlog, or I got a fair amount of it done. And so maybe I can finish this time around. So I'm going to get a coffee and watch a movie. All right, let's go. This is going to be fun. All right, here we go. So this is a really interesting combination of tones because there is some serious issues and there is some happy and light issues like a wedding, and it's also a little strange because it kind of feels like the romantic relationship that's building, and or from the poster, there's a wedding and it ends up being the mother of the bride and the father of the groom, which feels like that's a bit of an odd connection, and they actually hadn't met before. So, and then there's an interesting combination of languages because it's actually mostly in Danish, and then Pierce Brosnan generally speaks English, but everyone else speaks Danish, and then there's a little bit of Italian thrown in because it's set in Italy. So it's just, but the flow of the different themes and tones is very unusual, and so it makes it feel a bit quirky, which is kind of interesting, not what I expected. So, but it's interesting so far. I'm about, not even halfway through, but I am enjoying it. It's just it's not what I expected. I thought it would be like heart-wrenching drama, and there are moments of that, but there's also a lot of lightness too, so we'll see where it goes.
No. Also trim your sides a bit.
Okay, so I finished watching All You Need Is Love, or in Danish, Den Skalling Frisør? Maybe? Close enough? I'll have it listed down below. I did not do an auto listen for the translation, and I am behind on my working on Danish. I broke my 400-day streak last week on Duolingo, but I have a new approach, which I will probably start next week. Anyway, so the movie. So this is from 2012. It was directed by Susan Bier. That's why I picked it. And it stars Trin Dearholm as Ida, who we have here on the screen. Also Pierce Brosnan as Philip, and Molly Blix Eglund as Astrid, who is also in A Second Chance, directed by Susan Bier, and Sebastian Jessen as Patrick. Astrid and Patrick are the bride and groom, and Ida and Philip are their mother and father, but they haven't met. So they are the parents of the wedding party, but they haven't met before. And then also there was a familiar face in this, and I wasn't 100% sure until I checked up on IMDb, but also Paprika Stein is in this. She plays Benedict. She plays Pierce Brosnan's. She's the sister-in-law to Pierce Brosnan. And she is Danish. Now, Pierce Brosnan, they never sort of go into the details, but it looks like Pierce Brosnan is British. He marries a Danish woman. So generally speaking, other than Pierce Brosnan, everyone in this is pretty much Danish, with the exception of the fact that it's set in Italy and there's some people who are Italian and some Italian. Generally speaking, the film is in Danish, and there are, except for Pierce Brosnan, again, so when he's in the scene, he speaks English. Sometimes other people speak English, but it's generally in Danish. And then if there's a scene with Ida and Philip, generally it's in English. So this was not what I expected at all. I actually thought it was going to be all in English, so my bad. That's a total, what's that called, assumption. So bad Shannon. Oh, and I forgot to say, Paprika Stein, I love her so much. If you get a chance, watch the movie Applause. She is in it, and she is a formidable actor. She is amazing. And she stole every scene she was in this one. She is a very strong presence. And although I did not like her character, wow, she was good. So that was a treat. So, but this one, it's a little hard to talk about without going into the details, even though you can clearly see from the cover and from the picture I showed before, it's basically a drama/romance, but you're dealing with the mother of the bride and the father of the groom. So how can that work? I'm not going to say anything, but I was, it's kind of like, So I'm not going to go into the details of the plot on that side of things, other than to say that I really enjoyed the character and the character developments and how things unfolded. Mostly, I felt like sometimes there were emotional jumps especially in Pierce Brosnan's character, that I'm like, why, because he's this businessman, very rich, mean to his employees, and she's Ida is very she's a people person. She's a hairdresser. She is very concerned about people, and but she's going through a bit of a tough time herself. So she's much more compassionate, and he's much more abrupt. So you have this sort of they're very different, and they kind of call each other out on their own behaviors, which is interesting. But it's kind of because they're both parents of the wedding party, they're at a sort of neutral, because they're not trying to impress each other or anything like that. They're just sort of calling it how they see it. So that was kind of interesting to see that. But I did find that there were some emotional development jumps that happened, especially with his character. It was just how did we get here? I didn't see the development of why his character would now feel this way. And that might be because he is the strongest in terms of everyone around him reinforces you're mean, or you are abrupt, or you're hard to please, or whatever. So we get that from everyone, whereas with her, we don't get as much people around her. Her kids love her, and there's also there's a son as well. She has a son as well. But some of the family drama stuff and the family dynamics is just woo, you're just really watching all of this going, is that really happening? And I think that's one of the things that's actually quite great about the film, is that it has some serious issues and some serious relationship stuff, but it also has a fair amount of not comedy, and it's not a tragic comedy. It's not making fun of the hard things. But it is sort of going are you really behaving like this? Like, are we really sitting here listening to this? Like, there's those moments that felt very real, and because felt like extremes, it felt funny. So I thought that that was well done. I just wish that some of the emotional journeys came a little more smoothly. But overall, I did enjoy it, and I feel like it's too bad because I feel like I can't talk about it like really in depth without going into some of the spoiler stuff with some of the character stuff, and I didn't know anything about it going in, so I was just watching, everything unveil. And there was one thing that I feel a little complicated about how I think they dealt with it tactfully, for sure. But when I started to see the train go in that direction, I was kind of like, I wonder how they're going to deal with that. And I felt like it was, I think, tactful and close to supportive, but there was a piece that was I felt a bit missing, but it also felt true to that character in that moment, which, can often be the case. Like, and so I feel like I'm, it's so hard to talk about things without talking about things, but I guess I'm saying that, I think it's an interesting choice the way that they did it. It felt in integrity to the character, and I think sometimes with dramas, that's the most important thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be the most dramatic just because we're watching it, especially, if it's not pertaining to the main story. So anyway, but I did enjoy it, and yeah, so I don't think, do I have other things? I think I got everything. Emotional jumps. I enjoyed the scenes with Ida and Philip a fair amount, and I enjoyed a lot of the sort of like party scenes. I think that also just is contextual because it's COVID. It's kind of nice just to see people like having fun and having dinners and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I know some people really don't like seeing stuff like that, but just sort of like, they go to Italy because people are getting married, and it's Philip's old, like a second house kind of thing. Oh, there was also one thing that I totally missed until close to the end. This isn't a spoiler. I think it's just something that I just didn't pick up on, is there are comments on sort of like the class difference between the two families, because his family is very rich, or he's very rich, this big successful business owner thing, and she's a hairdresser. And so there are some comments about, like class, which I mostly missed, and I'm just not terribly interested in that, one way or the other. I think people are people, and we should all be able to talk to each other, and we shouldn't talk to each other like that. So, but again, it was mostly from sort of a more, antagonistic character. I wouldn't say antagonistic character. One thing I will say is that the woman who played Ida, Trin Dearholm, she reminded me so much of the woman who is in almost all of the Fellini films, that was in La Strada. What's her name? I wrote it down. Giulietta Messina. Oh my gosh, they both have such expressive faces and eyes. I think I picked up, oh no, I don't have it here. Oh, I put it on the computer. So anyway, if you've seen any Fellini film, like, she's in almost all of them. So this is the main actress in this one. And also, like, it was really, like, she really is an interesting character, and I really enjoyed her performance. I haven't seen her in anything else. I think the only person I'd seen in something else was Benedict. Oh, and also the bride who was in A Second Chance. So yeah, so I think I am going to watch The Hurricane now, which is the Oscar-winning film for sound. I lost the picture. I lost it. So I think I am just going to go straight on to watching The Hurricane, mostly because I don't want to get stuck in decision fatigue. This is on Canopy. I can watch it. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to do thinking. I will do thinking later if I feel like doing thinking. I did make some progress on my leg warmer. Not tons, but so I was here at the top of the stripe. I put this in as a marker, and yeah, so I have a little bit more to go, and then I need to do some increases, which I'm not the best at. So at least not, I did this pattern to match the other one. I don't know what I was doing. I was just making it up as I went along. That's what I was doing. It'll be fine. So I'm going to take a break for lunch, and then I am going to watch The Hurricane. Or no, it's just Hurricane. I want to say The Hurricane. It's not that. It's hurricane, right? It's hurricane. Nope, it's the hurricane. So I guess surprise is not up for effects if there's a hurricane. I imagine there will be a hurricane. It would be really strange if there wasn't. Okay, I will know soon enough, so that's what we're getting on to next. I realized I forgot to comment on this film as a Susan Bier film, like comparative to the other films that I've seen of hers, and I would say this one does have, although it does have emotional through lines and it is a drama, it doesn't have that like really like super inner conflict, like emotional painful kind of situation. It definitely is a drama and it has you know, relationships and like conflict and stuff like that, but it's not on that like you just like you're so tense and at the edge of your seat, which to be honest, given all of the things, that's totally fine with me. Like I don't know if I could do a heart-wrenching drama given the world these days. So it actually was quite nice to have it be sort of the tone and weight and pace that it was. And also I did pull up the actress that I mentioned that's in all the Fellini films, and I feel like I don't have a good angle there, and she really reminds me of the lead from this film. So yeah, highly recommend La Strada. It is one of my favorite films of all time. I know I say that a lot, but La Strada is like in my top 5. Like I know what my top 5 are, and it is one of those numbers. So anyway, that is it for now. I am going to get to the next movie. My tea is steeping, and we'll be on our way soon. Okay, now it's time to watch The Hurricane from 1937. Here we go. How long is it? 1 hour 45. Oh, it's a bit shorter than I thought. Woo, listen to that sound. Sorry for the lighting, but I have to say, this lead guy looks a lot like Matthew McConaughey. Okay, I have finished watching The Hurricane. This one is a little bit complicated, but before we get to that, let's just get to the details. So this is from 1937. It was directed by John Ford, who is a prolific film director. Over 140 credits, including Stagecoach, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, The Grapes of Wrath. And The Grapes of Wrath is one that I don't know. I think I've seen clips of it. I saw clips of it in a film class, but I don't think I saw the whole thing. I definitely remember particular moments. So it's very unusual for me to have seen only a part of a film, but I think that was one where that happened. And I definitely want to read the book, but I think it's one of the long ones, so I don't know when I'll get to that. So anyway, the cast includes John Hall, who plays Terengi, who's sort of the lead, but who gets listed first everywhere is Dorothy Lamour, who plays Marama. We also have Raymond Massey playing DeLange, who's like the governor character. We have Thomas Mitchell, who plays the doctor, and Al Kakumi, who plays Chief Mojave. So those are sort of the main players. There was also a father character, like a religious pastor type character. I forgot to get his name. So yeah, so this one is complicated. It was also, just so you know, it was also nominated for Best Score, and Thomas Mitchell was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, which I was a little surprised at. Like, he does a lot of this sort of exposition type speeches. Like, he sets up the beginning of it, talking about, you know, which is the so it's set in French Polynesia, and which is governed by France, but the locals are Polynesian, and it just was very complicated. Oh my god, I don't even really know how to talk about this in terms of like the themes and the depictions, and like I considered turning it off at a couple of points just because of the like just being uncomfortable. It was one of those, but then like as I watched the movie and as it went on, it was in part about injustice and even racial injustice, but I'm like, but the main cast is like pretty, not Polynesian, and not French, and so although the lead actor, his mother is Tahitian, so I didn't know that going in, so I was making assumptions. So, like, I just feel very complicated about this from that perspective, and I don't really know what to do about film. Like, I have sort of I have sorted out sort of how I feel a little bit about books that are old and complicated and problematic, but with film I haven't sort of figured out, like, because I'm like, I just wanted to see this for the fact that it is nominated for sound. Well, regardless of that, it has, complicated and some problematic elements. So I'm not going to ignore that, but I also don't know exactly how to deal with that. So that's something that I'm going to have to figure out, and it probably won't be today, but it is something that I'm going to work on, because one of the other challenges I have is I don't like to research things too much going into them, and so that makes it hard to make decisions while I'm watching something. Do I stop and research? Do I just let the hour 45 minutes roll and then go? I don't know. So anyway, the story of this one, it centers around a young couple from the island. The guy is a sailor. He goes out on the ship, and when he's on another island, there is an incident, and he is imprisoned, and it is a racially charged incident, and it escalates, while he's in prison. So that's a fair amount of context for the story. So I don't usually try and go that far, but it's so steeped in my reaction to things, I don't feel like I can leave that out. So I should have done a bit of a spoiler warning there. I'm sorry. But it's also weird because the title is The Hurricane, and I was watching it for sound. So I'm kind of like, I was not expecting like any of this. Although I think when you get to any, I should not be surprised that a movie from the 30s, a movie that's over 80 years old, will have complicated social, issues, things that are not up to date, with how we would do them now. And actually, this movie was remade in the late 70s. So I wonder how, I think it was dealt with differently in that one, but I didn't look at it too much. I almost went down the IMDb rabbit hole and stuff. Like the main actor in this one is like the nephew of the writer who wrote the book that this was based on. At some point I'm like, okay, Shannon, you gotta actually talk about the film as opposed to continuing to research. Although I do like to research, but I do like to research after. So anyway, I feel complicated about it there, especially because like it did sort of feel like it was presenting this as like, talking about that it was an injustice, but it's like, but if you scrolled back the film to an earlier scene where someone was being charged with something on the island that it's, set on, I'm like, there was a fair amount of indifference for, the Polynesian person who was being charged for something, and how they were depicted and all that stuff was not great, like in terms of, like there was a moment where the doctor, is kind of translating for the person being charged, and he includes translating something from what the woman said, because it is a man and a woman, and the woman actually never spoke. And not only that, the woman was sitting on the ground, not standing up. And even when there was a scene with the doctor and the governor and the governor's wife, and there was some other guy, there was some other political-ish guy, and the chief wasn't sitting. So there was no seat at the table for him, but he was in the room. And I'm like, it did not go unnoticed, right? So I feel complicated about this in terms of all of that. So I need to think about what I need to do. Do I want to research more ahead of time? Do I want to not talk about films like this? Do I want to talk about films like this to try and figure out what's going on, how I feel about it, is it, how to approach this situation? So But in terms of the sound, like I don't have a lot of, I can't off the top of my head think of a lot of other films with extraordinary sound of this sort of time period to talk about. Like I think one of I think It Happened One Night is from 1935-ish, but I don't remember any sound in that. That was more of a drama. So I will say the sound in this was quite extraordinary, but it is a particular sequence. Like mostly this feels like a drama, like a romance, some drama, some intrigue, some stuff like that, some social, even social commentary. But like the award is definitely for the effects and stuff through, a big, sequence that you can probably guess from the title of the film. But it's weird because like that's not the driving force or plot of the film, but it is, what it got the award for. And the sound actually was really amazing, and a lot of the effects were on a lot of the water stuff, and it's real sort of like disaster movie level stuff, also because of how long ago it was. I'm definitely hoping that everyone was okay through all of those scenes, because it was it was intense and it was sustained, and it's edited, so it's lots of different scenes, and sometimes that's not great because the film quality is different and the lighting is different, so you can tell. Like now we can, with, I'm sure, I don't know, I imagine it's been restored or whatever, so you can I sort of notice the editing a little bit more when the scenes are of different like film quality, like sharpness, like focus and stuff like that. But some of the water stuff was amazing. There were some high dives, like from a boat into, that were extraordinary, and a lot of the sort of storm water stuff was really cool, and the sound was cool. And it's weird because it's like I included sound for the Oscars because I find it's one where like some of the films that are nominated or winners are more in the sort of like quote unquote genre. It can be, sci-fi, fantasy, action and stuff like that. And this one, I would say, like that whole, like the whole hurricane stuff of it very much felt like disaster. But it was also really hard to tell what was going on in terms of the story and why were people going here and why were people going there. So that was, so I don't know, like overall it just felt a bit weird because I was watching it for one particular reason, but what came up was something completely different, and now I'm just sort of left torn between like trying to figure out how I feel about like all of these things. So that's some processing for another day, which I really wasn't expecting, but it's important to figure out how to feel through these things and approach them because it's important. I think it's important. So so I'm going to work on that. So that was, but it was tough. Like it was some of the things that were said, and some of the, like, I think like there was even one, like the doctor even said, what was it? It was these somewhat childish people, and like that's just not okay. That's just not okay. So, yeah, so that was complicated and weird. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and then I probably will come back and watch The Fast and the Furious, or the other thing I do want to do is watch something that is a 2021 release. So I'm not sure what vibe I'm feeling, if I'm ready for, car chases and, some pretty bad dialogue that I absolutely love. Or if I want to watch something that came out this year. I'm going to have a look and see which one is going to be better to watch first and second. I always run late on these, but that's okay. Like the day just sort of kind of gets away from me, but that's okay. I like doing that. And like I like having days where like mostly what I'm doing is watching movies, and that's part of it. So so I will make some decisions soon and be back with another movie very soon. So thank you for sticking with me through that messy chatty bit there. So I hope I can figure out my feels on that and see how to proceed. So all right, break time for me, and I'll be back soon. And that's dinner. Realized I forgot to show my knitting, so I got almost done. So I was at this green spot as we started today, and I got all of this done. All of this done. It's very narrow, so it's not that impressive. But yeah, I just have to finish off the edge. I have 4 rows of garter stitch to do, and I've done 2 of them. So I have 2 rows and then binding off, and then I just have to weave in the ends. I will definitely leave weaving in the ends until later because I won't be able to look at the screen while I do this. But this pattern was actually quite simple, and but I just made it up like during the last vlog. I just made it up as I went along. So I'm going to be really happy to have it off the needles because then I won't have to worry about if it's matching. So far, visually, they match, but like, what I wasn't quite sure as I was following on my notes. I'm like, is it this many? Do I increase by this? I know the total is that. So it was kind of a funny experience. But so far, they look the same. And so yeah, I'll definitely, hopefully finish that. Definitely, hopefully. I should finish that tonight, and then I will be able to weave in the ends later when I don't need to look at the screen. So I think I'm close. I'm very close.
Winning's winning. Fast and the Furious.
All right, it is now day 2 of the vlog. I didn't mean to do this over 2 days, but it happened. Anyway, so yesterday I finished watching Fast and the Furious, or The Fast and the Furious. It's important because the fourth film is Fast and Furious, or Fast and the Furious. I can't remember, but I think it's just not the thes. Anyway, so I rewatched this. This is a rewatch for me. I've seen it a million times. I actually filmed a clip last night and I realized I didn't say anything about the movie at all. So we're going to do a little better today. So this is from 2001. It was directed by Rob Cohen, who did Daylight, which I really enjoyed. A sort of disaster-y movie with Sylvester Stallone. Rob Cohen also directed Dragon, a Bruce Lee story. I also really like that. And Alex Cross and Hurricane Heist, which I haven't seen yet. I want to watch that. I like it. It's sort of got vibes of disaster and, you know, I think there's a heist, obviously. So I like heist movies. This has a bit of a heist element to it as well. So we get the cast here. We go Paul Walker as Brian, Vin Diesel as Dom, Michelle Rodriguez as Letty, Jordana Brewster as Mia, Chad Lindbergh as Jesse, Max Schultz as Vince, Johnny Strong as Leon, Rick Yoon as Johnny Tran, Reggie Lee as Lance, I really like Reggie Lee, Ja Rule as Edwin, and Noel Gulemi as Hector. So this is actually sort of like a action crime heist film, but it's one of those things. It's like, for me, one of the things I love about it is the characters and the relationships and some of the sort of jokes and stuff like that. So it's not a comedy, but I always laugh when I watch it because I just enjoy it so much. And there is and then I don't know, like, it's weird. Do I laugh when I watch it? That's true, I do. There are the moments that I wait for every time I see it, and there is some joking. There is definitely tension between a lot of the characters, and I think that leads to some funny moments, but it's not a comedy by any stretch of the imagination. But no, I don't know. If you watch this movie, do you ever enjoy it and laugh when you watch it? Because I do, and I'm not the best, I don't watch a lot of comedies. It's definitely not a comedy. Why am I hung up on that? Anyway, so the story is Brian is trying to get into this sort of group, team, crew of street racers that's led by Dom and Mia, Letty, Vince, I'm forgetting the names, Jesse and Leon, and so he's really trying to see if he can sort of be part of the group. He also starts a romance with Mia, who's Dom's sister, so that gets some tension there, and one of the other guys, Vince, likes Mia, so that creates a lot of the tension. A lot of the comedy moments is actually, I feel, not comedy moments, the things I laugh about are between Vince and Brian or Dom and Vince. There's just some really funny moments in there that I really enjoy. And it's just, this is one of those movies, so Brian is trying to befriend everyone in the crew, and then also concurrently there is a bunch of heists that are going on in terms of truckers are getting like literally highway robbery going on, and so they're trying to so we as the viewer are sort of trying to figure out who is doing this. There's also a whole street racing element to this as well, and different players as a part of the street racing, including Hector and Johnny Tran, and so it's like, what's going on, that kind of thing. So, but for me, I really find that this movie, what I love about it is sort of like the found friendships, the team, the group dynamics, and also like, I saw this in the theater. It was the first film I saw with Vin Diesel after Pitch Black. They actually are both Universal films, so they both start with the same music, and I so strongly associate that actually with Pitch Black because I have seen it so many times, and I really like Vin Diesel. So, but this one, like, Brian really is at the lead, and Paul Walker, like, the character of Brian is, I never know quite how to, like, I don't know what to say. I don't really know what to say about his, like, he's so earnest, like he really just wants to, like, you really feel like he just wants to be friends, and like these people are like, get out of here, like they're really like literally, stop coming around us, we don't want you around, and he just keeps on showing up, and that's something that I always appreciate in a character. Not the sort of not listening, because Brian's not a good listener in that respect, but he's just like, I want to be part of this. You just get this feeling like he wants to be part of this, and there is something very endearing about that as a quality. So I'm not going to get into more of the plot in case anyone hasn't seen it, but I did really enjoy watching it. So part of my reason for watching it was to watch the films that won the Taurus Film Awards for Best Overall Stunt performed by a stunt woman. So for this one, I am going to say what it is. It is a bit of a spoiler, so I am going to hold up the DVD case while I explain which stunt I think won, and then I'll take the DVD case down when I will stop talking about spoilers, because it will be a spoiler, for the stunt moment, and also potentially some of the plot as well. So, okay, so now I'm going to be talking about spoilers. So for the stunt that I am guessing is that won the stunt award, there actually was not that many stunts performed by women, as far as I can tell. I'll talk about that actually after the spoiler bit, but yeah, I think what it must be is there is this really intense car scene with there's cars and trucks, and it's one of the heist scenes, and Michelle Rodriguez's character Letty is in a car, and the car moves from one side of the truck to the other side of the truck by driving under the truck. It's like, 2 seconds long. It is so intense, and it is so amazing. So that is what I am picking as the stunt. As I said, there were not that many stunts I feel like I could pick out. I'm not an expert in stunts or anything like that, so this is a learning, exploratory process. The only other ones that I feel like could maybe be in the running is there's one point where Mia's character is driving a car, and Brian and Vince are jumping either from the car to a truck or from the truck to a car, and at another point the car drives off the road. So that feels like it also could be a contender because it's quite a sequence. So I'm not sure with stunts how long the moment needs to be or whatever. I have no idea, but that's going to be my guess for the stunt. So I will look that up in a moment, but I'm just going to get back and talk to stunts while I pull this down. Okay, so spoilers over. One of the things that I will say, though, that actually thinking about this category and this category of a stunt, it was interesting to try and pinpoint when the stunt performer was a stunt woman, because you can't always tell, especially in this film where there's a lot of driving sequences and people wearing helmets. So, who knows? And even when it's in a car, if the car is, like, if you don't see the driver, you know? And then, so I don't know how they determine that. Like, do people submit, hey, that my film has 5 stunts, here they are? Or if, you know, people in the industry watch them and be like, oh, this should win for stunts. So I don't know how that works. Yeah, but then also I was, like, as I said, there's a lot of, in this particular instance, a lot of the stunts, or a lot of the sequences, you couldn't tell who the performer was. That being said, that often, I imagine, is the case, because often the stunt performer is someone who looks similar to the actor, which may or may not be someone who is the same gender. So, you know, we will find out when I look up what the stunt is, what stunt it was. And yeah, so it was just interesting to think about that, because I added this category because I wanted to be inclusive, and I was impressed and happy to see that there was a particular stunt that was awarded for women in the industry. But as I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about, oh wow, like, as a viewer, would you know? Would you know? So, and but the, you know, it's an industry award, so it's, you know, it's I would imagine it's a way to honor and celebrate, you know, feats and amazing moments in the industry. So I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, so but yeah, so it's funny, because, like, sometimes when I pick something to work on, as I work through the list, I think about the category or the ideas or, like, what it means more and more and more. It's one of the reasons I like to do explorations, is because you don't know where you're going to go. You don't know the questions you're going to ask yourself, the research that you're going to do if you choose to do research. This one actually, this whole, all of the films in this vlog ended up being like ones where there was sort of like elements where I really had to think, or it was different than I expected, or there's something I need to process or work on. So this ended up being a as opposed to just like pure enjoyment, which a lot of it was. There's a lot of thinking done during and after, but I like explorations. It's one of the things I really enjoy, so I am happy to do that. Yeah, so I think this will be my last film for the vlog. I did want to get a 2021 release in, but I just don't think I can work it in because I have a fair amount of things I need to do today. That being said, I might finish off watching, I've been watching 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, just sort of like in increments this week, and I think I would like to finish it off. And I do need to, or I am going to be making a dinner that has a fair amount of chopping and those kinds of roasting and steps and stuff like that. So I might finish watching the movie while I'm making dinner. It is a rewatch for me, so it's not something I'm doing for a challenge. It's just something I'm doing for enjoyment. I really like it. It's the one with Kirk Douglas, and based on the novel by Jules Verne, so which I did read, and I actually rewatched the film a couple years ago when I did read it, but I just noticed that it was on Disney, so I decided that I wanted to watch it, and yeah, so I've been enjoying that. So I think I have about an hour left, so that sounds like that is, you know, like amount of time that it could be doing chopping and kitchen-y stuff. So I might I probably won't come back with thoughts about that, but because I've seen it multiple times, but I think I will still, like, you know, finish off watching that because it is quite, I really enjoyed that movie. It's interesting and wondrous, and great sets, and it has its own challenges too. I always forget that. Oh, and I did finish off my knitting. I got the rest of all of that done. So between my 2 vlogs, I think I've done, oops, upside down. I've done my 2 leg warmers. I just have to finish in the ends. Just have to weave in the ends, and then they will be done. And then I will be on to another project, and that will be exciting as well. So where are we going now? I am going to look up, I'm going to take you over to the computer, and we are going to look up and see which stunt won. So just so you know, it will, as I show the computer and stuff like that, it will reveal the moment in the film. So if you don't want to have that as a spoiler, we can sign off now, and I will see you in my next video, because I probably won't come back after watching 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I don't know. You'll know, because you'll know how much progress is on the progress bar. But yeah, so, but for now, it's time to see what won in 2002. It's a 2001 film, but what won in 2002 for the best overall stunt performed by a stunt woman. I'm excited. I'm excited. Okay, so I am on the site now. I'm at the 2002 winners, 2002. So I think it's usually on this side. Best vehicle work. Oh, we can look at that after as a bonus. Okay, best overall stunt performed by a stunt woman. As I mentioned before, as I hover over this, it will reveal what the stunt is. So if you don't want to know, this is the time to look away. Ooh. Okay. Truck hijacking daytime. Black sports car drives in front of, then swerves under a semi-truck at high speeds and comes out the other side. This is bumped by the semi, hits pipe ramp, lands in the desert. Okay, so that is, it says the nominee, I guess the nominee is the winner, Debbie Evans. Woohoo! Yay! I got it right. So I am super happy that I figured out which stunt won. Yay! And I was gonna say I'm 1 for 1, but I actually think I'm 2 for 2 because I did also watch earlier in the year. I watched Obsessed, which also won Best Overall Stunt Performed by a Stunt Woman, and I think I picked that one out as well. And it was a very different style of stunt. So that's actually something that's really interesting about this category. Is so far the two that I've seen were completely different movies. Because Obsessed is a thriller, and you know, this is an action movie. So it's interesting to see even just the different genres that end up being ones that win or are nominated for the stunt awards. And I actually did notice as well that this won 4 awards. So best work with a vehicle, best overall stunt performed by a stunt man, and also best driving, so that, which shouldn't be any surprise. So I'm not going to go through each and every one of them, but I will of course list the site down below if you would like to look at them and you know, have a chance to see all of the different winners, what they won for, and also some of the nominees, and just even the different categories, right? They have like best high work, best aerial work, best work with an animal. Wow, a Knight's Tale one for that. I don't know how I would feel about watching films for that particular reason. Best fire, you know, so lots of interesting categories, and it's interesting to think of films in that way. So yeah, there's actually a fair amount. You know, I think of the watching The Hurricane, I watched for best sound, and that definitely felt like, you know, that, you know, predates the stunt awards, but the it definitely had a lot of effects in it, and, you know, a lot of water stuff going on, and the sound, and it was really intense in that way as well. So a fair amount of you know, intensity with the choices this time around. And then we had some more lightness with the Danish film, even though it had some serious topics too. So it was a little bit of everything. So I think I am going to mostly leave things there with those 3 films. I hope you enjoyed watching this. It was fun to do. I never know what movies I'm going to end up seeing, but this was a pretty interesting lot. And yeah, and I look forward to more films and more vlogs in the future. And I will see you in my next video. Bye! Ready to go for next time.